I didn't even realize how Black Bolt died until someone explained it on YouTube, because I didn't know what happened. And now like the sound of his own voice exploded his brain.
Yes,
is that what happened?
Yeah, it blew the back of his head out because his power basically, and they showed it where just a mere whisper from his brain sends out sonic waves that'll basically melt you and kill you. So they're facing Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and like one little whisper from my mouth could kill you, and she's like, what mouth? And then she turned, and then he didn't have a mouth, but he already started to whisper because he pulled the air in, and then he had to let it go, and it blew the back of his head out.
What happens when he sneezes?
Yeah, he's dead, man. Yeah,
he's gonna split the earth in two.
Well, but she covered his mouth with skin, and he spoke into skin. Yeah, very similar to the Matrix. Been compared to the Matrix,
exactly.
In terms of how it was executed, but. The thing that gets me with that is he could have said this mouth and it would have just broken through the skin that she used to cover his mouth, unless she put a skull and a brain and all of the things that were destroyed from ricocheting off of this super powerful mouth. Yeah.
That must have been one hell of a mouth. A very strong DIY mouth.
Yeah, she knows how to build them.
Yeah.
I guess so.
And there was something about the way that his head popped that it was just like, ooh, and right there, then she basically, they had the Illuminati, which was a super powerful group, where in their universe, they actually defeated Thanos, similar to how many people it took to defeat Thanos in Infinity War. They defeated him, so she cut through all of them. So after she did that, another really graphic scene was Captain Carter, which is this universe. Again, I don't know if I told you, Hook. So they're this is the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
So they jump to another multiverse where different heroes, different rules.
Okay.
So Captain Carter is their equivalent of Captain America.
I see.
Was Peggy Carter,
but British.
British. To me, that was the most brutal one because she literally got sawed in half by the shield, and then after it hit on the wall, you saw the blood dripping. So I was like, that might have been the only one that people like. Yikes. Okay, maybe this is a horror movie because she got cut and like it was
hamburger or hot dog.
What's the vertical one?
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Yeah. Yes, she got hot dogged, and it was like right in half. So you saw her face, you saw her drop, but they didn't show her body falling in half like something like I had a Final Destination, but it was clear she got cut in half.
So people are upset that this movie's too violent? Is that
not
the controversy?
Yeah, like not only that it's rated, it should be rated R because of the horror elements, because of the killing elements. And I think the biggest one, besides the getting cut in half, was Professor X. Everyone's like, oh, cool. They're here. The X-Men. Okay, this is where it goes. And it's just like, psych. Whoosh, and she like snapped his neck and he like fell over in his wheelchair. And they're like, all the people that, surprise, we brought them in for casting, but they're dead in this universe. Now, granted...
I love that move. That's such a powerful move.
It was a very powerful move. It was like very... Now, granted, most of the people that are deep into the comic books understand that these are variants, and they can bring them back because there can be other universes. That means there's equal in the... what's the number, Mike? Is it the 616?
616.
It's 616. So there has to be probably an equivalent in this universe. So we know we can bring them back. But I saw people walking. I also saw people walking at a Joker. Because a dad brought his daughters. Like, sorry, I thought this was Batman. It's just like, no,
he's a clown. Yes. What's the worst that could happen?
Pow! Right through the head. So yeah, there was very similar moments there in the first showing of Doctor Strange, and I went to the nerd showing. I went to the very first showing on Thursday, and I got it. I went for the pops. I don't know if it was the wrestler in me. It was like, I want those pops. Like when Avengers Assemble, I wanted those pops, and I didn't get those pops. I got gasps.
I mean, Jeff, I think you're talking to two different things here. So there's the first one is the horror. Is this a horror movie? That's the first question. The second question is, I guess not a question so much as it just kind of evolved around, like, out of your describing the multiverse. But so let's go with the first one. Is it a horror movie? Let's stick with that for a second. If it's a horror movie, it's like, it just happens to be one of the highest budget movies of all time. But in horror movie context, it's kind of like the most low budget horror movie you could ever experience because all of the actual graphic violence was cut. And that's typically what you work around if you're doing a low budget horror movie. You're not going to show the body falling over, being cut over. You're going to show the shield in the wall. You're not going to show the actual, destruction of the Ultron bots. You're going to cover her face in oil.
Right.
And that I call attention to that scene in particular for a reason. And that's because I look at that as Disney playing the game where she's not covered in blood. She didn't do anything violent. She did some shit to some robots. Who cares about robots?
She was just changing her oil.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
So is it a horror movie? Not really. Jump scares, sure. Okay, so maybe this is like the reframing. It's not a horror movie if you lived through the 80s or the 90s in any context, but it is a horror movie if the first horror movie you ever saw was the remake of It.
Is it a Disney horror movie?
A Disney horror movie on top of that, yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Because I think there was just a few, again, the jump scares were very expected, but there was a little bit more suspense, when you couldn't stop the oncoming onslaught. So basically this all-powerful witch was blasting down doors and you were running down the hallways. And like Mike said, they had a lot of jump scares. The eyeball popping up in the puddle, that was another one that freaked people out. Basically, the ring scene where she was using the reflections to get in there, and then she started crawling out of like this reflection of the shield, but she distorted her body, and she was like, and it looked like the ring, and her hair was all wet, and she had that same look when she popped out. I think people are just really caught off guard by it. I mean, I loved the movie. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. They probably should have gave it a different title than Multiverse of Madness, because literally we came 2 weeks after Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
That went balls deep in multiverse.
I think people are desensitized to the word madness.
Yeah.
Because we used it from March Madness. That's not madness.
No, that's not.
That's just people playing basketball. It's not that crazy.
Yeah.
You mean hoops?
That's not the darkest depths of the human mind. That's hoops.
No, yeah, that's just hoops.